campus. It's Wednesday, middle of the week. Thank you for being committed to these conversations. I am finding them uplifting, I must say. And now I've got gallery view, and so I don't see everybody at the same time, but I see lots of you. So we'll try the same format. We have some updates to provide, and then we'll open up for questions if you don't mind waiting for a little bit. As you might expect, as we go through day by day, things are getting resolved. We'll end up in a kind of a rhythm in another week or so, and then the end of semester will hit us, and we'll have to think about all new things again as we prepare for summer and fall. But thank you, all of you intrepid, stalwart faculty and staff who continue to serve the students and serve each other. Much appreciated. I think I did mention once before that Senator Kim was alerted by, I think it was a Manoa student, about whether or not there was any consideration of refunding fees, because students had paid fees, and now that they weren't on campus, they weren't using some of the benefits of those fees. So is there any consideration? So that is an ongoing conversation about refunding fees. It will most likely affect our health programs that have program fees, and we don't expect other things to be impacted. The key will be to identify those expenditures which students may not have had benefit of, and that may be a very small proportion of what the fees cover. So that's an ongoing conversation, not yet completely finished. The credit, no credit grading option was supported by the UH Faculty Senates, and the details are soon to be forthcoming. And I'm sure when Maria gets an opportunity to speak, she'll give you a few more details about that. Continued underlining the fact that any requests for our help related to COVID-19 activities, any requests for use of our facilities or our equipment for COVID-19 related activities, please encourage people to go through HAIMA. HAIMA is the designated entity that will keep track of all the assets, so that there will be one central place where the state knows where everything is if somebody should need it. If we're doing deals with individuals on the side, then that's not the best use of resources. Perhaps somebody might need it more than whoever's asking us because they're friends of ours. So if anyone comes to you asking for the help or your services or your facilities or your equipment, please direct them to HAIMA. There was Erica told us about a request recently for the fashion technology students were asked to, whether they would make masks for the community in their fashion tech workshops. And Erica had to explain, well, that's all well and good, but we would be asking students to come through the public to the campus to be together in an enclosed space working on these things. So maybe that's not the best way to do this. And so no, it was really about the safety of the students more than not wanting to help the community. So the other side of that, which is we are doing cool things, and if there are cool things that you or your colleagues are doing to support the students or the students' learning, please direct those stories to Louise Yamamoto, and she can coordinate the stories to be told through Dan Meisenzahl folks. So it's things that we are doing, the extraordinary lengths to which faculty are going to support the students in their learning. So if you have those kinds of stories, that's the kind of story we'd love to push out and let people know what a great job our folks are doing to support the students or to support the learning. And that's all I have, and I will turn to the Vice Chancellors. So Vice Chancellor Noel, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give some good news for now in terms of all this craziness. 3 days into registration, we are officially the college with the highest enrollment in all of UH colleges, past Manoa, past West Oahu, past Hilo. So congratulations to us. The numbers are quite low overall across all boards, but we will take that win for now. Um, the other thing is that Urgent Student Relief Fund, we did award, and if somebody else is on the call, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 80 something, 85 students during that first round. Funds are still available. So basically it's gonna go into a second round of funding. So please encourage your students to apply. They will have up until Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. to get that in. And then the committee is gonna review that second round of funding. Most likely, I think there's a pretty good chance we might go into a third round of funding because UH Foundations is still securing some funds to distribute to the campuses. So yeah, as much as possible, go ahead and reach out to your students to go ahead and apply for these funds. That's it for now. I know there's some other questions still about placement that maybe Maria can highlight a little bit on this call, but that's all the updates I have for now.
Noelle, just a question. When you say Wednesday, do you mean today, Wednesday, or a week from today?
Today, Wednesday, sorry. Today at 4:30, that'll close round 2. But if the students don't get their application in by 4:30 today, all that's gonna do is roll over to the next round. So students will still be able to apply for the next round. But as much as possible, try to get them in because the funding kind of depletes on every round. So I'm pretty sure we'll still have money for round 3, but probably less so than what we're having right now. But yeah, just have students turn stuff in.
Angela's also noted some things about the relief fund in the chat box. So take a look at those details. Thanks, Angela. Maria.
Okay, hi everyone. There's several memos that will be coming up from the academic affairs side. One of them would be, the grades, the change from your letter grades to credit, no credit. And so a memo is gonna be coming out, and then a policy is gonna be coming out right after that, on the implementation of the credit, no credit. Grades are due by May 19 for most of the campuses, I would say. Yeah, for most of the campuses, except I think for West Oahu, which is earlier. Mm-hmm. But then our students will have until May 22 to request for a change from a letter grade to credit, no credit. Then after that, the grades are gonna be rolled, and then that is it. If they want, or if they were sick and they were not able to do it, and they have a very valid reason, then maybe they can do the request to change through the deans of that unit. So that is one memo that would be coming out. Another one that is being prepared is, oh, by the way, in addition to the letter, the change there for the letter grades to credit, it will also include a statement wherein students who are on academic probation will, it is going to be extended. That means if they get out of academic probation during the spring semester, then it's fine. But if they don't, then they will not be suspended or anything. So that academic probation is going to be extended until the fall semester. And then another memorandum that would be coming out is about tenure and promotion. The goal there is to extend the probationary period for 1 more year. Because we realize that faculty are very busy right now trying to put all their courses online, and in addition to that and getting their documents in place for the submission in fall is going to be a tall order. So that is one of the things that will also be coming out soon, and I think that has also been discussed with UPA.
Maria, I have a question. Yes. Is that extension of probation an option? Can faculty choose to go ahead and submit if they want to?
Yes. Yeah, okay. They can submit. If they're ready to submit, then yes. But if they're not, then that is, an opportunity for them to get their documents better written, clearer, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think those are the two big memorandums that will be coming out soon.
Oh, Maria, there's a question in the chat box about contract renewals. Is that also extended or is the deadline still firm for that?
Contract renewals for, oh, I thought Faculty Senate was looking into changing the contract renewal dates for our campus.
I think you're talking about just this semester. Is that correct, Susan?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at Jamie's comment in the
Yeah, sorry. I was just asking, so T and P is extended, but if you were supposed to submit a contract renewal, you're still supposed to do that? Yes?
Yes.
Or no? Okay. Just checking.
I will have to check on that one because we were
Okay.
only talking about the probationary period.
Okay, thanks.
And I don't want to interrupt the meeting. But Maria, the bigger global question was on the Senate agenda that will be sent out to the faculty that will probably have an answer in May. Okay.
Okay. That is for contract renewal, Candy?
That's correct, but that's not for an emergency situation. That's for going forward.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Right. I'm not sure, Lisa Kanai, and DPC membership, what question is that?
And DPC membership.
Yeah.
I don't know how important it is or not, but and maybe the departments can handle it on their own. But say you're a DPC member, TPRC member, who's maybe has a year left on the DPC. Do we give them the option of remaining on the committee or just bringing in the next person for the next round?
I'm not sure how this situation would impact somebody's service on a DPC though.
Okay, let me think about that. It just came to mind and you're here and I want to ask.
Works, okay. Thank you. Okay, Maria, anything last minute?
No, I think that's it for now. We're gonna have a meeting again tomorrow.
Okay, thanks. Brian?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Very quickly, a couple of updates and announcements. First, I want to thank everybody. Everyone has been very understanding and very patient and I mean, just absolutely cool about us trying to keep the campus safe. And I really appreciate that. Even the members of the public who generally like to walk their dogs on our campus, they've been very, very nice, very compliant, and everybody understands. So thank you to all of you. Budget training for our FY21 base budget 5-year planning started yesterday, and that will run through the middle of next week. Department chairs and administrators have a deadline of May 1st this year to submit their 5-year budget plan, at which point the review will take place over the next month. So it's about roughly in the month of May. The goal this year is to get our FY21 budget out to the campuses, out to the units and the departments by July 1st. And obviously it's always our goal. The hard part is we don't yet know what number we should be planning for. The system has yet to give us any indication of our projections. And so that's just a big uncertainty for us. That said, we can't just wait until the last minute to do our work here, and we need to get going and we need to plan for next year. The best I can do and the best Louise can do is to hope that the system will give us some sort of clear projection as to what our general fund appropriation and what our projections for tuition and fees revenues will look like next year. Finally, construction projects are continuing. And actually, they've made very good progress because there haven't been a lot of students and a lot of people on campus. So believe it or not, our Monono building, for you Monono tenants, finally we got a permit. If you guys can imagine, it took us 18 months to get a permit. And this is 3 months after or 4 months after Mayor Caldwell said that he was going to be streamlining that process. So I think a lot more streamlining has to occur there. But irregardless, I mean, we're going and we're moving, and I'm hoping to be able to open up that building by the summer and get the tenants back in. We know that we're still going to be under some sort of COVID situation, so I don't know how smoothly that will go. We have also some smaller projects going on. For instance, over at Kawila, there's a dental lab that's being worked on, and that's on progress as well. Our big project, PV panels, is definitely on track. They've upset a few neighbors, but that comes with the territory when you're trying to build a campus in the middle of a neighborhood like we have. But that said, everything is going well, and we should be able to get that those parking lots back by summer as well. That's it for me.
Okay, thanks, Brian. There's a couple of questions going on in the chat about the situation. So a couple of things. We are likely to get some public comments today about enforcing the use of masks in public. It appears, this is what we heard from Erica this morning, that there will be something going out from the state to say anybody going out in the public must wear a mask. So to Pat Gilbert's question, to the university is going to be drastic. They are talking about things like 30% reduction in what we typically get from the state. So all of us are going to need to adjust. In the latter half are going to help us do that better, but we are still facing a very, very difficult situation. And so when Brian says we don't have the projections yet, we don't have what we expect to get from the state. What we do know is that we will expect much less from the state. We're also waiting for a memo from President Lassner about what that means for the university. We are likely to see words like total hiring freeze. We are likely to see ban on travel using G and tuition and fee, which is not a big deal for us because we've never, for the longest time, used either of those funding sources for travel. And we are likely to see in his memo something about no special salary adjustments. These are the degrees to which we need to adjust, and it is going to be that difficult. Let's see. Okay. The deans, I see Nava'a. Anything for the good of the order?
Yes, really quickly. I just wanted to let everybody know that Candy, besides being faculty senate chair, she's also offering social work 200. So for all the counselors out there or anybody else, if some of your students are interested in social work, we have that class in fall. I think another thing is I've been looking at everybody's continuous improvement and student success plans, and and this is up to you, Chancellor, but I was looking at them thinking that just looking towards the future, maybe if people can add in red or something, we keep saying we don't know what's going to happen, and true, but in the event we all came back by fall, in your student success plans, what is something you might want to add to it so we can kind of look at everybody's plan to see how they're going to move forward once we come back? And that's just the two things. Otherwise, everybody stay home, stay safe. I noticed that the roads are getting more crowded, so it kind of seems like people are getting a little complacent. And I just don't think we've hit the peak of everything. So yeah, just stay safe and stay healthy. That's it.
Okay, let's see. I'm just looking back over the chat before I get to another dean. Yeah, so Shannon says DOE is not going to return until there's no new cases for 4 weeks. Okay, well, yeah, see you in 2021. Let's see. We are going to be monitoring class enrollments, but right now the enrollments for fall are very, very slow. We are clearly going to need to adjust. So all of you folks who are department chairs or program coordinators and program directors, you should be monitoring your enrollments. On the first day of enrollment, the first thing I did was, at the end of the day, I checked physiology 141 and 142, which is two of the highest demand classes, and I saw lots and lots of sections with no enrollment whatsoever. So it is going to be very difficult, and we will need to monitor. Angela's asking if we're going to still use 67%. Yeah, as a running rule, we try to do that so that we can optimize the resources that we expend. But of course, there's always judgments that are involved, especially in CTE programs where all the classes are required for the program. So there are always judgment calls. Let's see. Brooke has some stuff about face masks. And so I had something earlier, if you missed it, saying thank you for doing recorded sessions so that students can watch over and over again. It's a blessing. Okay, something about TB policies. No, Noelle, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on with the vaccinations?
I think Jerry kind of addressed it in the chat, but Jerry, is there anything else you want to share about that?
I see it.
I think the bigger question was to see if we're going to end up doing something with the MMR requirements as well. And I think that is the one we're waiting from the system to kind of hear back to see if we can make any accommodations for students with health record holds to help them register, but nothing right now.
Excuse me, that only addresses the people that have already registered. For prospective students that are looking at our website that see we have a TB requirement and have no idea what our waiving policy for TB or MMR is at this time, this could negatively impact our current enrollment because students are seeing this requirement and just not even bothering to start the registration process.
So I think, I mean, it's not a total waiver of the TB requirement. All it is that the registrar's office is going to put the hold on at a later date. So basically, the extension of the TB till June was only extending that hold. Eventually, students would still have to turn in those requirements. So what we're trying to do from the system level is see if we can get some kind of guidance as to have students register without having those health requirements right now.
Well, that's good. When and how is that going to be posted to the public on our websites?
So I think if a decision is made on that, basically I'll do my emails to the whole student population as well as update the college web pages. If it's a system decision too, I think the system will also send out an additional email to the students and post it on their websites as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, there's some concerns Lavashay's expressed that students are wary of registering for summer and fall in some measure because of the uncertainty of what fall might look like. They might not want to commit to a class if it's going to end up being an online class, or that there's too much going on right now. They don't have the brain space to be thinking about summer and fall just because there's so much going on. So if you're hearing those kinds of things from your students, please do reach out to them and give them that sense that we do care and we are hopeful hopeful for the fall and the summer, and to reach out to the faculty in those classes so that they can connect with them. Okay, let's see, what else? What's the process
LP,
for?
LP, can I just add something? This is Brian.
Sure.
I think the big thing, like Louise said, is that uncertainty, and I know some students, as I've heard, are afraid about going to online. But the biggest thing that we can offer them, as a public institution, is that we will be here. We will be open, and we are here to provide whatever higher educational needs and help them reach their goals. That's the biggest thing I'm hearing. There's a lot of private institutions, for example, HPU, they were talking about going under before this came up. They can't make that promise, but we can.
Thanks, Brian. No, Eyal, there's a bunch of stuff that's there for you about students getting kicked out.
Yeah, I think Jerry just answered that in the chat as well.
Oh, I'm so slow. Okay, can you point out, this is Guy Keller, no new international students can register for online only because they need to have TB clearance from a US doctor. Right now, the only people who are exempt from TB and MMR are the students who sign up for a degree or certificate that is offered totally online. And today, as of today, there is only one degree or certificate that has that ability, which is the 5-week program offered out of Leeward Community College. If students register in that five-week program, they are exempt from TB and MMR, but they are the only ones. We are pushing very hard to try to get that exemption for the students, international students who enroll in our IEP program, our intensive English program. So a bunch of us are trying to work on that, and we will be focused on the efforts to do that. There's a few hoops we got to jump through that we're going to try to. Okay, Lisa Raddick.
I remembered mute. Hello, everyone, and I just want to first of all thank you all for all that you're doing. I know everyone is stretched so thin right now, and we're being asked to deliver in a way that our courses were not designed to deliver, and everyone's doing an excellent job. As far as the campus goes, again, we talked earlier in our ELT meeting that perhaps we need to have some what-if scenarios in our back pocket. So for example, if we're able to resume, in the end of May, what would that look like for our courses that may be delayed because there's an element that requires face-to-face? What does that scenario look like if we can't resume until the end of August? What does that scenario look like? So I think when we're talking about offering support to our students, we need to first offer support to ourselves. So reach out to your dean or administrator and let's talk about what that might look like. And I think if we're prepared, that's our best avenue of being successful at this point. So thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you, Lisa. John Richards.
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. I'll just add to some of the comments how wonderful it is to work with everybody during this really challenging time. Everybody steps up, and it's really an amazing, proud thing to be a part of, and I appreciate it so much. As we work through the next weeks and months, what I would like to share is, as we adapt and innovate and create, please bring on the big ideas, bring on the big conversations as you're going through it. I think now more than ever, out of the box, big ideas are ripe for exploration. So I'm in CTE, I'm focusing on many things, but one of the things for sure is our workforce recovery. And so whatever program you're in, if you see ideas and can think of ways, I'll just use restaurants as an example. How are restaurants going to recover from this? And how can we be a part of that recovery in training, up training, certifying, getting people to the next level? What kind of grants can we be looking for any kind of workforce recovery? I think that's going to be huge in the next year. And you know, we're thinking and having big conversations about what happens 4 or 5 months from now when we're coming through the virus, but now the unemployment and homelessness explodes into huge numbers. And how do we work with that and address that? So big ideas, I love them. Bring them to me, bring them to your deans and your coordinators and your colleagues, and let's see if we can create some magic.
Thank you, John. There's a note from Pat, and I'm sorry, Pat, I know you asked it before. Will we issue thermometers to the faculty to test students coming into class? No. We don't expect to have face-to-face classes if the situation is such that people are walking around possibly infected to that degree. And we're not going to have face-to-face classes if there needs to be a wipe down of all the facilities every day for deep cleaning. I think the face-to-face classes will resume when we have some assurances that there's not a high degree of community transmission. That is why at this moment we are restricting access to buildings and bathrooms, is to make sure that we don't have that situation where people are walking around infected and touching everything and infecting everybody else. I can tell you that the library, which is the one place where we do have public access, very limited use by students. As far as I can tell, there hasn't been more than 16 students at any one time in the building. I don't know if that's changed this week, but I think that was the highest population at one time in the library. But the auxiliary folks come in at least once a day and wipe everything down, keyboards, carols, everything. So we don't want to have to deal with that degree of cleaning. So we are restricting access. And I don't think we will resume face-to-face instruction if there is still that high degree of risk. We will, that's why summer's online. Summer 2 is going to be online, and we hope that everything is okay for fall right now. What did I miss while I was talking? Let's see. Yes, thank you to all the faculty who have put their stuff online. Yes, yes. KCC logo masks, okay. I don't know if they do that in 4 imprint. I haven't looked at recent catalogs to see whether those logo companies are making. That would be, I bet they are. I bet if you go on a website and look at those logo companies, they have now issued logo masks. I bet that's true. And he says 6 to 12 students coming into the library per day. Yes. Right. So we understand it is very difficult for students who don't have access to transportation. So I watch the buses go by, and there are very few people who are riding the bus, and those that are on the bus are at opposite ends of the back of the bus, staggered seating. Yeah, it's not easy. Let's see, I got all the I know Carol Hoshko said she would prefer not to break into the conversation because she has pet birds that like to be part of conversations too.
Louise, can I say something?
Yes, Joanne.
Yeah, so this is my marketing hat. I just wanted everybody to know that Lisa Yamamoto and Sheldon folks are really working very hard to keep, you know, enrollment marketing going. So it's Instagram has increased by 30%. Students are doing a lot more social media, and we're posting things on the COVID-19 page that has apply and register. Sheldon is doing, he just did last night a Zoom how to register class with 8 people in there. He may do more because in the past he hasn't had anybody. So, you know, we are trying to figure out ways to get the word out. So we are working on it. There'll be Google ads going out to direct students to our website. So, you know, we're working hard on that as well.
Pat's asking about surveys of the students on general issues, how they feel, what they plan to do. And I don't know that, Noel. Anything?
No, not at this time, but we can, I mean, I can work with a group to kind of establish a survey for the students to kind of see how things are going on. I think a lot of the stuff right now was just giving everybody time to get used to how everything is going. I think there's so many crisis things that are going on that to have a survey might not be the best time, but I'll form a committee and kind of address that issue with the students.
This is Carol Wagner over at OFI, and we've had a few discussions about that from a distance education implementation committee about changing the kinds of questions we would ask students this semester in relation to going fully online. And then also, I know our student congress survey was on hold for this semester, but I would love to be involved with that with the folks too going forward to kind of figure out how our students are feeling. So thanks for bringing that up today.
Other questions? Feel free.
Hi, Louise. This is Maria.
You had a chance already, but
I know, but then I forgot. Okay.
Go.
A big question on campus now is placement exams. Our testing center is closed for a very good reason. We don't want the students to be coming to campus to take a test, and we don't want our library personnel and testing center personnel to be exposed to anybody who might be coming in. So how do the students place in math and English? Big question. So I've had a conversation with the testing center folks, and I was told that they are going to be meeting, and they're looking at, and they also have a webinar with AccuPlacer on how to do things online. So I'm waiting for that to happen, and they said that they were going to be updating me of anything. But one thing that they proposed, which I think, I don't know if we're even gonna entertain the idea, is maybe to open it like 2 days a week. But still, that would give us the face-to-face thing, which we have tried to stop from the very beginning. So yeah, the language placement, what? Some issue also? Okay, anyway, I was just looking at, so the math placement exam, the cognitive assessment committee is looking into it. They, Portia just told me, Portia, are you online? No, okay. So anyway, she told me that they put a pause on EdReady. They're looking at AccuPlacer to be the placement exam again, remotely with Zoom online proctoring. But I do not know how soon that is going to be implemented. So we're talking to, or where Nova has gotten in touch with the English and the math coordinators to find out, you know, like what suggestions they have, and maybe we can go back to how we were doing it before, where the students place themselves, you know, they elect to what level of math and English they can register in. But so that's still in discussion, and hopefully we'll come to a resolution soon. Thanks.
Okay, let me catch up on some questions. How did the ACCJC visit go? Thank you, Nara. Thanks to all the hard work of the ACCJC accreditation work group that did a lot of the preparation and finding things to make our lives more inclusive, transparent, and accountable. We think the visit went quite well. It was all virtual. There were 3 people. All 3 of them had been on the team that came to visit in October 2018. They were very impressed with what we had done in that time. I had the exit meeting with the chair, Dr. Will Llewellyn, who said that he saw no issues. And he told me if there were issues, he would tell me. So that's a very good sign. He said we had done great work, that it was very clear that things were moving in the right direction. So we're very hopeful that when he writes his report to the commission, that it will be supportive of our efforts. And the commission will be meeting in June. And shortly after their June meeting, we will know what their determination is. So thank you to all of you who were interviewed. A bunch of people got to take part. And I think it went well. So thanks for asking the question. Then Cheryl had a question. She had to ask it 2 times. How does a faculty member ask for extension of probation? Usually it's by direct request to the chancellor. Again, with this new thing that's going to come out with respect to spring 2020 and the extension of probation, I don't know if there'll be a different kind of a thing, but it is typically the faculty member writes a memo to the chancellor requesting an extension of probation, and it's very typically granted. We don't try to say, oh no, you don't get to extend, go ahead, do it now. If someone has a legitimate reason why they want to extend, we always grant that extension. The union contract allows only for 7 years, so you can't extend indefinitely. There is a point at which the faculty member must submit, but that's 7 years of probation the contract allows. With this new thing happening now because of COVID, I don't know if the process will be different. I truly don't know. We'll have to wait to see what comes out of the UHPA task force. Some people are having issues with the sound, and I'm sorry, this is the first I hear of it. Okay, let's see. Steve, you're on the phone, maybe that's why. Anyway, I apologize to those of you who are having sound issues. Other questions? Looks like a lot of things are going online, international affairs too, because nobody's traveling, of course. Plexiglass. Yeah, I mean, I think the whole issue of the testing center is not just to keep the testing center folks safe, it's also to minimize students going out into the public and having to come to campus in order to do these things. So that's always the balance. Let's see. Sunny says there are some people actually not showing up for those who had appointments up until April 3rd. Yeah. There's 7 screens of people's faces. So I'm just going to flip through and see everybody. Dave is still in Budapest. Okay. All right. It's good to see you guys. It's hard being, I mean, on a campus when there's nobody else around, hardly anybody, but we're thinking of you every day. Other questions, other concerns? We're, Staff Council is also considering ways to bring people together through Staff Council activities. We are going to consider a Zoom dance party. I'm committed to that. So everybody will be dancing wherever they are to the same music. It'll be great. I promise. So Thanks, Angela. Zumba. Perfect. That's right. Anything else? Anybody speak? Go ahead. Big chance. Roomba to dance with? Yes, Guy. You can Zumba with your Roomba. You guys are funny. It's important to laugh. That I gotta tell you. Okay, looks like people are signing off. Feel free to say goodbye to everybody. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Go ahead. Open your mics and say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Funny. This is like a big version of the wall.
Happy Easter.
Hello.
Bye.
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 Hang up. No, you hang up.
You hang up.
You hang up. No, you hang up first. Bye, everybody.
Bye.